Guys, although they're 50 in age, you'll be quite surprised with the speed and the intensity that's going to be out on display in this match.
Well, let's just say getting out of the ruck area takes a little bit more time these days. So sometimes they can get caught up there. So match is about to begin. Looking forward to it.
And we're underway. Scott Collins taps the ball off for the Australians. And McDonald, he dishes out. They come to the left-hand side. Again with Collins. Dishes to McDonald now. They got the sweep play coming around the back here, the Aussies. They look to switch in. They do. New Zealand holding out nicely. Australia look to kick out. They're not afraid to go expansive early on. And Brooke Early takes a touch out here on the left-hand side. So Leonard with the ball now, drives in, gets the ball, back does Leonard, comes back off the left foot, they go into the middle, touch made, yeah, really good touch made there from Turnbull, so they hold out in their first set, New Zealand.
It's a great link cover there by Turnbull, certainly reading that play, the step back, and great shot by Paul Turnbull.
So Australia will be looking to put some defensive pressure on here, and that's what they're doing. They're getting up out of the line nice and early. Forced New Zealand to go back to the mark. That was Turnbull. And they're struggling to get forward here, New Zealand, in their first possession of the football. Olowski does a little bit more direct running as they come over the halfway line. The crowd's getting behind the Kiwis now. This is better, but it's fifth touch. See if they throw the ball around. They do. They're still going here, the Kiwis, and just couldn't link up at the end. But they did a good job in the end because they were really struggling to get over the halfway line. So they did a great job to finish off where they did.
Yeah, look, I'm impressed with Australia's defence early in the touch count, keeping the Kiwis back behind. You know, took them touch count 4 to make some real yardage into the paddock.
So Leonard drives forward and heads towards the substitution box now. Weatherall's onto the field. Number 3 is David Kafoa, one to watch for the Australian side. They go in front of Kafoa now. He's into half. He looks to go left to right. Sums it up perfectly. And we're going to get the opening touchdown of the men's 50s gold medal match. And it is the Australians who get it. And it was David Kafoa. He just slipped onto the field. Nice ball left to right. Opening touchdown to Australia.
Not an easy pass to make, the left to right pass. But he found his, picked up and found his winger. Great ball. Finding out the Kiwi winger just not in place in time. So Australia won, New Zealand back to halfway.
So the Kiwis here, they get us back underway. Let's see if they can respond in this set.
We've got Tony Langaheitu making his way up in the middle there. Him and Paul Norris, the middles. That's better from New Zealand. Let's see what they can conjure up this time round. Got a sweet play coming here. Jamie Lafiso looking on the inside. That man, Jamie Lafiso and Tony Langaheitu, good combination over the years. Just a backdoor sweet play. Step back, finding the driver just coming through. So well done, New Zealand.
Perfect response from the Kiwis there, and it really opened up in the middle. That might be concerning from the Australian coaching staff, that the Australian defence let them go into the middle. Perfect. We're locked up early stages here in the men's 50s gold medal match between Australia and New Zealand.
We wouldn't expect anything else, but you know, it's going to be a bit of a ping pong backwards and forwards on this one here. So
sweeping around the back is John Salmon for Australia. Straightens them up nicely. They've got good momentum. Salmon's got on the outside here, but nice cover from... Here's that contact we were talking about. It didn't take long. Now the referee's going to pull this one up. So they're going to try to stamp their authority early in the match and try to get that out, but didn't take long, did it?
I think we can hear the pleads. I just touched them, just barely.
Come back off the left foot. And nice cover defence there. Bevan Thompson in the middle. Almost caught napping on the line. Mark Leonard having a go at the try line there for Australia. They just looked for the rat play. Wow, that was just too easy. I didn't actually think they were going with any set piece themselves. It was a simple wrap, and the outside defence from New Zealand were asleep on that occasion.
Great play by the Australians. A simple 33 wrap happening there, and catching New Zealand link just out of position there. To be honest, he just strolled through.
Yeah, so down the other end, the Australians wouldn't have been happy with New Zealand's first touchdown, but the New Zealand coaching staff, they definitely wouldn't be happy with the second one that the Aussies put on the board. But they're back on attack here as Orlowski crabs across the field. They switch back in. They'll go for that wrap play, but they come back to this left-hand side. There's time and space available to the Kiwis. The touch is being claimed over in the corner there. Amir Ayub. And play on is the call. From where we were standing, I actually thought it was a touchdown myself. Again, but plenty of time and space there. Summed it up nicely, then fired that right to left ball out in the corner. Nice touchdown. Good response from New Zealand.
Great pass by Peter McIntyre, just sizing that gap up, holding his middle with him, and seeing that the link had also come in, able to throw a great bullet pass.
Yeah, that's the experience of the players that we were talking about at the start of the broadcast. McIntyre just holding the ball up there. A lot of younger players would have just ripped that one straight away, but he assessed whether he was going to go short. It's one of the New Zealand players, trips over his own feet. Yeah, summed it up perfectly. Just held the ball up and then fired it out to the wing. Locked back up here in the men's 50s gold medal match between Australia and New Zealand. Jordan takes off. He goes out to that right-hand side again. Big diving finish, and we are in a shootout here in the men's 50s gold medal match. New Zealand get a touchdown. Australia hit them straight back and reclaim the lead.
And that's the second time Australia have found a space out on the right-hand side wing. The New Zealand Lincoln winger are really encroaching. They're squeezing in tight. The Australians are reading that and finding the space on the outside.
Peter McDonald scoring the touchdown for the Australians. Nice finish on the end of that one. Now, New Zealand, can they hit back? There's every chance that they can.
Got Turnbull and Lafisa making their way up through the field, organising themselves. Let's see what the New Zealanders can come up with this time. Jamie Lafisa with the ball. Referee is calling off the mark. It's marching them back 10.
Yeah, correct call there. Scott Collins was just behind the ruck and he made the touch on the back. And New Zealand attacker probably didn't know exactly where Collins was standing and progressed forward. It was definitely over the mark. Good call from the referees.
And Australia making their way to the subbing box, getting a fresh pair of legs. There's New Zealand able to get in between those two players. Just a bit of confusion as they came onto the out of the subbing box area. So let's see what New Zealand can do in reply.
Yeah, a little bit disjointed there for the Australians. That's the first time that we've seen them look a little bit shaky in this match. And twice in succession that they're going to have to defend their try line here.
To set up for 32. Let's see what they do. Referee's calling it's rolling back into the 5. New Zealand player pleading to the referee in this case.
So New Zealand, again, they're going to roll on the 5. Quick ball from half. Beautiful hands to hold that one up. Oh, they went to go the link hole. There's another penalty here. Again, the referee calling Mark Leonard out on that occasion. The penalty given, they were lucky. The link hole probably wasn't the right line coming in, run from the New Zealand support player on the outside. He's running straight into an Australian defender, but they get the penalty.
Yeah, I think the New Zealand player, Tony Langaheitu, picked up the board, just took his players out of probably the chop line that they were supposed to run. So they just need to get their spacing right, New Zealand.
More pressure on the Australian side now. This is the third set of 6 that they've been camped on their try line. Let's see if they get a set piece. No, the ball, that's not a good roll the ball there from Langaheitu. They turn the ball over, so the pressure being relieved right on the Australians. That wasn't the end of the set New Zealand were looking for.
Good holdout by the Australians, although they got pinged on the line a couple of times. They stayed in the grind. Great yards.
Yeah, Weatherall just putting their head down and getting the Australians forward. They've just got to do their best to get down the other end of the field. A complete set is probably as good as a touchdown at this stage for the Australians. Hands there from Walkerdine. That might be a pivotal point in this set as Jordan drives into the line. They pick up from half again. They look to go the short side, but they couldn't hang on to the ball. But Brett Walkerdine, great hands to pick that one up. So they did a good job in the end because look where they've got the New Zealand team coming from.
Great skills shown by the Australians. That's a quick scoop and run. That is difficult skill at that age to be able to pull off. Here we go. New Zealand's with a reply. Momentum. It's been given. Shoulder. The referee's calling a shoulder.
Yeah, Terry O'Carroll I had eyes on him. He didn't mind coming in for the contact as well, so it could have gone either way on that occasion. The referee gives it to New Zealand.
I think the Australian rugby coach will sign him up for the World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, they'll take anyone they can get at the moment, the Australian rugby team. New Zealand, they got him on the back foot here, but they turn back onto the inside. Now the penalty here, they've really got to be careful, the Australians. Yeah. Now, interesting, I thought they actually blew a penalty there before the quarter time break, but the referee has decided to call drinks, so both sides will head to their respective sub boxes, and it is Australia currently leading this one at 3 touchdowns to 2 over New Zealand. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a brief time. And we are back here on field 1, the gold medal match in the men's 50s. Australia taking on New Zealand. So there was a penalty blown just before the quarter time break there. So New Zealand will come back onto the field. 6 more touches and they'll be tacking the Australian line yet again.
So it'll be interesting to just see what the New Zealand coach had called as they come out of this quarter. Let's see what the Kiwis can come up with. Here they go. Turnbull and Lafiso calling the play on this one. A quickie play. Oh, wasted opportunity by the New Zealanders. That's early in the touch count.
Yeah, that's not what you want. You don't want to turn the ball over at any stage, but early in the touch count is definitely not what you want. So they couldn't connect together there, New Zealand and Australia. They're just going more direct here through the middle. John Salmon, he's one to watch. He's been really handy for the Australians when they've been trying to get themselves out of the danger end of the field. And ball down is the call. Peter McDonald trying to convince the referees to give them a penalty for in the ruck, but they turned the ball over, Australia.
Well, he was neither doing that or praying for rain, one of the two, but let's go for the pleading with the referee. Here we go, New Zealand in reply. They need to go a little bit more direct, as they're doing now, just like the Australians. I think taking their time through the field, when it comes to the back end of this game, they just need to watch their legs.
Yeah, the real line here, New Zealand. Interesting, their links were standing extremely wide, and they look to go short on that occasion. So again, yeah, the set just a little bit disjointed for New Zealand. Didn't really look like they were working to a set piece at that stage, did they?
Not quite sure they got the right combination in that position at the moment, so they're still working through that. Just need to get their spacing right and get their comms up.
So they go to the sub-box side again. There'll be changes here for the Australians.
New Zealand pushing up, great. Wingers and links pushing up. That makes the attacking team look on the inside once they see players there. Well done. New Zealand are pleading for the ball, not giving it. Well done. Edwards pleading with the referee that he asked really nicely for the ball, but never got it.
Yeah, nice manners gets you far, doesn't it? But right call. They didn't give the ball back to where the mark was, so that is a penalty to New Zealand. They're making substitutions at the same time here, the Kiwis.
The New Zealanders got their playmakers on at the moment, so we've got Peter McIntyre, Tony Langaheitu and Jamie Lofiso. These guys, again, just doing some basic errors here. The game, the thing that you would do the most in a game of touch is the roll ball. And you've really, if there's anything that kids, if you're out there practicing, practice the roll ball.
Now let's see if Australia can hold on to the ball. The Kiwis have made a couple of errors while they've had the football, but the Australians have done the same the last few possessions as well. Walker-Dean steadies the ship. That's better from Walker-Dean, but the dummy half wasn't really in a good position. But Australia now, they're rolling towards that 5 metre zone. Walker-Dean rolls it right on the 5 metre line. They look to go long here. Can they cut back on the inside? They do. They pop the ball as well. And a diving effort, but touch made. Big touch made there. Langaheitu coming across. Had to get there in the end. It was a nice little pass back on the inside, but nice work from the New Zealand cover defence.
Great cover by Tony Langaheitu, coming from the middle position, able to make that touch. A try-saving touch by Tony Langaheitu. Here we go, the Kiwis answering back. Need to make their way. Oh, the referees. Okay, just over vigorous touch.
Yeah, Ron Kelleher coming in from the right link position. Identified that he needed to come in there to try and slow that roll down from the New Zealanders when they were making changes. Now, they're lucky to get away with that. There was a New Zealand player in front of the tap. It could have been an offside penalty. The referee's happy for this to continue.
The Kiwis are fortunate to get off just to get away with that because the Aussies were making great inroads on the defence part of the game. So here we go, set up. 33 Peel, who looks short, and again. The Peel play by McIntyre, spotting the guy, and Terry Tuatea, their great combination over the years. Just picking up the ball, sweep comes around, middle was out, step through try.
Yeah, beautiful orchestrated touchdown there for New Zealand. They level the score back up. It is 3 touchdown apiece now in the men's 50s gold medal match. Ian Jordan going forward for Australia, working with Robert Weatherall. David Kafoa back on the field. Let's keep an eye out on Kafoa. He gets the ball. They wrap around. Kafoa goes himself. Well, every time David Kafoa's got his hands onto the ball, he's created something for the Australians. The New Zealanders really need to be aware when he comes onto the field. They've got to put pressure on him when he's got the ball in hand.
Such a smart ball player. You could see him as soon as he's got the ball off the ground, heads up. He's seen the space. He's got a bit of toe on him also.
Absolutely, he took off when the space was presented to Kafoa.
I haven't seen someone run that fast since an All Black winger ran around an Aussie winger.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall.
Here we go. It's neck and neck here. It's a great contest in this gold medal match. It's a bounce out play by the New Zealanders, looking to go on the middle and bounce out in the last minute. Here we go. What can they conjure up? The Aussies holding the line.
Yeah, that was better from the Kiwis on fourth touch. They had a nice little set piece there. Orlowski coming from the outside in. Might have just been a half a step behind where he might have needed to be, but managed to hold on to the ball. And the Australians, they shut down their raid on the line again. So they're coming out of the danger end of the field. And they head towards the substitution box again.
Here we go. Nice clean yards by the Australian. This has been really impressed with this part of the game for them.
Yeah, lucky to get away with an over the mark potentially there. There was groans from the crowd.
Let's see if the New Zealanders can hold them out. Great set of defence, great set of 6 by the Kiwis. Just a bit more sideways from the Australian players this time. They're making a lot of dividends when they go direct through the field, so let's see if they can go back to that game.
Yeah, and the touch that was made, that was the groan from the crowd for over the mark. That was really good defensive pressure, putting that heat on the Australians as they transitioned out of the box, and as a result, look at where the Kiwis are on the field here. They're just 8 metres out from the try line. They're working these short plays. They go phase. They get it out to the wing. A diving effort's going to be occurred here. The touch is being claimed, but the referee is moving back. Robin Day not there in time. And the touchdown to New Zealand. That's back-to-back touchdowns for the Kiwis, and they take, we're back level, I should say, 4 touchdowns apiece.
And McIntyre, again, instrumental in that play. It's probably his 5th assist so far. And great work by the winger, David Poe, leaping over there. The Australian just close, but just inches away.
Yeah, it can be a game of inches at time, that's for sure. The Australians, they'll be looking to hit back, locked up here in the men's 50s gold medal match. 4 touchdowns each between Australia and New Zealand. So Kafoa is back on the field. Let's see if he can strike up some more magic for the Australians. They sweep. They're looking a little bit clunky here, the Aussies. You're lucky to hold on to that. They go the early roll ball. Now they give it back to Kafoa. He comes right side, and Jordan, he's wrapped around. Just a nice, easy hug there from the winger out there on the left-hand side.
Great play. I'm not quite sure if actually the winger went back 5 on that last play from New Zealand, but I think we saw it, but the referees didn't. Anyway, here we go. New Zealand answering with their roll ball. They're finding the subbing box, getting a fresh pair of legs on. Great yards going forward. Here we go. Lafiso, Langaheitu get themselves in the middle. Let's see if Australia can keep them out this time. Great ball and all. Great ball and all, smothered tackle.
Yeah, David Kafoa, he's turning it on both sides of the field. He's been electric with the ball in hand, but he read that perfectly there. That combination again with Langaheitu in the middle. They've been working together consistently. Lucky to get away with the touch and pass there, the Aussies. They crab across field, has switched back in. They need to go down here. They managed to evade some of the Kiwi defence. Mark Leonard, now they come back to this left-hand side, and touch is made there on Robin Day. So good response in defence from the Kiwis.
Great shot by the Kiwi winger. Seeing that, coming up high, promoting himself high, making that touch. That's been another torrid quarter in the 50 men's final.
Yeah, extremely entertaining. A gold medal match here between Australia and New Zealand. The two teams can't be separated at the moment. We go into the halftime break with Australia and New Zealand locked up at 4 touchdowns apiece. And we are back. The second half is not too far from getting underway. It's the gold medal match here on Field 1. The 2019 World Cup between Australia and New Zealand. As the referees and New Zealand side make their way back onto the field. 4-4 is the score in this match. And Michael, that was a really highly entertaining first half from both these sides.
Very entertaining first half. I'm sure the Australian coach would have been talking to his players about just tightening up a little bit in the middle there. They've been caught out a couple of times, and the New Zealand coach, he'd be making sure that out wide their wingers are probably not collapsing too early.
Yeah, it was probably the Australians, you would have to say, that won the first quarter, but I would give the points to the Kiwis for the second quarter. They came back at the Australians nicely there to level it up going into the halftime break. And it is the Kiwi side who get us back underway into the third quarter. They look for the wraparound play. It's coming out the back. Nice early ball. And the Kiwis have scored the first touchdown in the corner there. William Drummond crossing over in the corner. Perfect start there for New Zealand.
Great play by the Kiwis. Ran a 33 peel with a late fade, and they hit the fade and found the winger off that one. So good play. Pulling in the link on that one. Let's see what the Australians can do to reply. It has been just try for try so far by these countries.
Yeah, New Zealand take the lead for the first time in this match, so a little bit of pressure being shifted on to the Australians. So, as Michael said, let's see how they respond. So Collins dishes to Salmon. Salmon goes out to the outside, but nice defence there from Scott Reed, reading the play perfectly. The referee has given a penalty here to the Kiwis.
Australian player pleading to the ref. We've never seen that before, so it's the first time for Australia, but the Kiwis get the ball. Let's see if they go. Whoa.
Very lucky to get away with that one. It looked like it was well and truly over the mark from Paul Norris. A bit of a groan from the crowd as well. They usually let you know when they think there's a penalty that should have been given, and might have been a little bit of justice there. Tortilla turning the ball over, and they give the ball back to the Australians.
I say that was justice. I think Australia got some bad calls against them. Anyway, the Australians make their way through the field, just hitting on that link channel. Go to the middle. New Zealand promoting their insides up. Touched by Peter McIntyre, and here we go. Australia get themselves organised. The backdoor sweep. There's a shot by the Kiwis. Nice play. But the Kiwi links are up to the task as well. Let's see what they've got this time. Playmakers getting themselves all another sweet play. It's gone back short side. No, they stay on the open side.
Great work from New Zealand there in that set, wasn't it? They had no problems defending the Australian side. Kafoa, he made his way back onto the field, is working with Ian Jordan. They combined nicely together in the first half, but they couldn't orchestrate anything there, the Australians, as the Kiwis doing the hard yards to come out of the danger end of the field.
And Tuatea making some good yards, which allowed them to get closer to the subbing box. New Zealand start to make their way into the middle of the field. Turnbull and Lefiso getting themselves organised as they start to get closer to the 5 metre line. Let's see what the Kiwis can conjure up this time.
Yeah, nothing on offer on that occasion. They just go for the flick play. So both sides
There's no magic in that one.
Yeah.
There's no Hogworths going on in that Kiwi play.
No, nothing there. But the Australians, they didn't really have any answers last time. They had possession down the other end of the field. They just take the space down the sideline with Robin Day. So that gives them some good momentum. Walkerdine does the same. They shift it back into Wetherill. He dishes off as well. Nice drive into the line for the Australians. They go away from the short side. Big leaping ball as well. And finish off in the corner. But are the referees happy? They're not. They're going to come back and take that one away from the Australians. Forward pass is the call.
That's unfortunate. That's Leonard had a big wind up, but the referee's calling that it went forward. That's a line ball, but I'm sure the Kiwis will take that one. But unfortunately, good play on the line by the Australians, finding that New Zealand, both winger and link, collapsed early, and the Australian link was open. But The execution in their last pass, just unfortunate. Here we go, the Kiwis on their way to the subbing box. Some tired legs out there.
Yeah, they take the pressure off there. John Salmon getting his hands onto the football and giving the Kiwis another set of 6. So interchanges onto the field. Lofiso just taking it forward. Salmon screaming through the line. They go over the top again. And the screams of go forward. They want the Kiwis to get going now. McIntyre points the direction for Leofoso to go for him. He's in the half. He's just got space in front of him here. McIntyre. Can he connect? Yes, he does. He finds James Leofoso. And, well, again, the Australian defence had just completely opened up. McIntyre took the space. All he had to do was connect. He does that, and the Kiwis now, they go out to a 2-touchdown lead for the first time in this match. 6-4 is the score now in the men's 50s gold medal match.
The Australian middles, both threes, just hang off and let McIntyre take the space, is correct. And he showed a bit of afterburners there. And then finding Jamie Lefiso in the end, border ground, but he was able to grab that just before. So well done. Kiwis up by 2. Let's see what the Australians can do this time through the field.
Yeah, big task for the Aussies now. They really need to hit back to try to get themselves back into the match. It's all New Zealand in the last few minutes of this match. Sloppy play the ball there for the Australians. If he could get that one down, McDonald, Kafal was sniffing around in the in-goal. I think they might have had New Zealand stretch.
I think they did. Turnbull went and made the touch, but went through, so that left the man out of their line. So unfortunate for the Australians, but lucky for the Kiwis. Now they make their way to the subbing box. Some good yards through the field. Here we go, new set of legs on the field. Let's see what the Kiwis can do. They're slowing it down, so that's just they need to just make sure that they get themselves forward. And here we go, Longahetu finding it on the outside. But he's touched. Good, great defence by the Australians on the line there.
Yeah, McDonald having to stretch out to stop that one. Longahetu is looking dangerous as well for the Kiwis. Probably not a bad result in the end, although it was clipped on the boot as he went through. They completed the set and finished in the corner. The Australians starting to look a little bit fatigued as they work their way to the sub box. Look at this, Ian Jordan. He's just strolling forward at the moment. Needs to get off these fresh interchanges. Need to get the ball going forward. Walkerdine does that. He has been really good at getting the boys forward. Salmon again turns it back into Walkerdine, but it just dips down in front of Brett Walkerdine. They turn the ball over. Australians.
I must say, Scott, I'm a bit perplexed that I haven't seen Kafua with the ball in the hand more often. He is dangerous when he's near that try line, so I'm not quite sure whether they're holding him for the last quarter, but that's the man who I would be giving the ball to.
Yeah, great call, Michael. He was really impressive in the first quarter for the Australians, and I reckon they've turned the ball over here. Yeah, it was definitely forward. The pass from Lefiso to Kevin Orlowski, so sloppy play there from the Kiwis.
Kiwis just going away from their game. They're looking for someone else to go down, so as a result, as a consequence, they're getting just caught out flat-footed. So here we go, the Australians again keeping the ball alive, using their pace, going forward. Very simple, getting themselves to the line. Let's see what they can come up with this time.
Just getting tangled up there together, Weatherall and Salmon. So just the little 1% plays at the moment are hurting the Australians. That was just a roll ball with no one else around. It was the two Aussie players that connected together and they turned the ball over.
Yeah, look, I'm impressed definitely with the Australians through the field. They're doing that really well. Just not getting themselves organised properly.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
50-50. Yeah, it might have been a 50-50 call there on Orlowski. He did lose control of the football, but there was unnecessary contact. Must have been the call from the referees. They give the penalty to New Zealand and they're back on the attack. A little bit of collision again there. It just gives the Kiwis some more time to reset. They're coming into the Australian line again. Paul Norris with the ball and drives in. Langaheed 2 again at half. And they might look to set up for him for a half run. No, he drives in for Norris. Gets the ball back now. Goes himself as well. Well, he's turned this match on its head. Anthony Langaheed in the last couple of minutes. Set up the last touchdown, scores the next one himself, and they are extending their lead. 7-4 now, New Zealand leading over Australia.
Nice little quickie play. And Langaheed getting the ball back. Holding up his defender. Gap wide, down on the ground. Well done, New Zealand.
Well, perfect timing for the touchdown as well. Right at the 3-quarter time break, they have extended their lead nicely here, New Zealand. There is a massive effort ahead for the Aussies if there are any chance of being able to get back into this match. They're down by 3 at the moment going into the 3-quarter time break. It is New Zealand at 7, Australia 4. We're under 30 seconds away from the teams entering the field, and New Zealand in control of the men's 50s gold medal match. They've got a 3-touchdown lead. It's 8-4 on the 7-4, I should say, on the scoreboard. We're just talking then a halftime break again. New Zealand in complete control of that last quarter, Michael.
Yeah, they were very commanding in that third quarter. Great plays along the line. Really great communication. But again, look, I'm a bit dumbfounded that number 2 for Australia, David Kafua, is just, unless I'm not seeing something, I don't see him around the ball, and he was dynamite in the first quarter.
So as you mentioned that, the Aussies get underway, and it's Ian Jordan driving forward, and Kafua is on the field now. So number 2 with Ian Jordan, they combine nicely together in the first quarter for Australia. Jordan gets the ball back again. Here we go, Kafua. He's directing traffic, moves his way into half. Nice touch, though, on Jordan. Gives an early ball to Salmon. They're just cramming across field. Absolutely no options there for the Australians. They send it back infield. Look at the defensive pressure from the Kiwis on Kafua. Nice touch made there. Jordan goes now. They send it out, but no options out here. Missed assignment for the Australians. And New Zealand defence holding strong.
Great defence shown by the Kiwis, but one thing us New Zealanders have come to know, that we'll never say never when we are playing against an Australian team, because you've got to play the full minutes. Otherwise, it could turn to disaster.
And a penalty given away from the Aussies. They were actually called out in the previous touch. They were trying to get up and put some defensive pressure onto the Kiwis, but a little bit too eager. Salmon being called out of the line. Ian Jordan then coming in on the next touch, getting a little bit too aggressive in there for the referee's liking. And they relieved the pressure valve for the Kiwis.
Poe and Tim Wananoe just making some plays up in the 21 channel. Here we go. We got the playmakers, Lafiso and McIntyre back in the middle. Let's see what they can pull out this time. McIntyre scoops and goes.
Yeah, a penalty given away here, and it was 100% the correct call. Ron Kelleher there for the Australians never made it back to the try line. He just got his hand in there to try and swat that down from the Kiwis attack. I think he knew that he was in trouble.
Always a helpful player is McIntyre. I'm happy to give the referees a bit of a signal on what that may be. Oh. Now, can I just say, I haven't seen a pass throwing like that reminds me of the classic Wally Lewis type thing, straight in the bread basket. But Peter McIntyre finding the link through there. New Zealand again making headroads into the final quarter. Let's see what Australia can do.
Oh, they've got to come up with something, and they've got to do it really soon here, Australia. This lead now is really getting away from them. 8-4. They're down by 4 touchdowns as Leonard sends it back on the inside. They switch back in. Scott Collins with the ball now. Leonard moves into half. Shapes to go one way. Comes against the grain the other. Switches back in. McDonald, like the Kiwi defence, they answer the call. They come back out to the right-hand side. They try to switch back in again, but Peter McDonald is touched quite comfortably. They turn the ball over on the 5. Although they've been super impressive in attack, the Kiwis, their defence has been just as good.
Exactly, and another prime example where the Australians are running their own player out of space, but equally the Kiwis are up to the task. Great work shown by the length there. So here they come through the field again. Kiwis have been impressive since half time, so let's see what they can continue that form leading into as we go into the final quarter here. Langaheitu picks up the ball. Oh, unfortunate. His hands on knees shown by some of the Australians. Keep their heads up.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for the Kiwis. It was a beautiful drive into the line from Bevan Thompson. They couldn't connect up, but the Australians, they are looking rattled here at the moment. They're driving now over the line. That's better from Robin Day, getting the boys going forward. Walker-Dean's just going to do the same. He just tucks the ball under. It's a 5th touch now. Kafoa's only just coming onto the field. It's 5th, so it's going to be hard for him to try to create something. And he can't on that occasion. Well, but here we go. Penalty given.
Now here's an opportunity for Australia. New Zealand caught offside on that one. The ref says, puts them back onto the try line. He marches them forward, the Australians. They come forward here, lads. You don't need to run that far. I'll give you a couple of metres. So here we go. Let's see what the Australians can come up with this time, getting themselves organised.
So Ian Jordan with the ball. He's asking, the question of the referees. Goes for the quick tap. They're caught short on the line here. Jordan's going to try to get in underneath, but good recovery there from William Drummond. And the Australians, they shift it back. Here's Kafoa, turns it back onto the inside. Salmon is sweeping around the back, but they lose their momentum there. Now Kafoa switches in. Salmon again goes to dummy. Touch made from Orlowski. He's trying to pump the boys up here. A couple more touches is all they need to make, and this might be the defensive set that wins the gold medal for New Zealand. They move into half again here. Salmon comes off that left foot, and Orlowski, he might have been there in defence, and they hold out yet again, the Kiwis.
Just the execution by the Australians, just their last passes, just not making it to hand. So untypical errors shown by the Australians, but here we go. The Kiwis making it up to the subbing box line, getting the Australians going backwards here. Let's see if they can keep up the pace. Turnbull with the ball. Okay, the Kiwis have got something on. Let's hand over ball, the Australians. Let's see what they can do this time up the field.
Yeah, the Kiwis won't be too disappointed with that last set at all. They're just looking to take time off the clock. But here we go again. It's still more of the same from the Australians. Unfortunately, they're overrunning each other at the time. And again, there's just no urgency here for the Aussies. Substitutions are still working their way onto the field. Walking in again just goes forward, but the outside support isn't in a good position at the moment from the Australians. They're now into that space, but again, Kelleher just had a little look up at the line, drops the ball, but they're going to get a penalty from the referees. And there's a little bit of a conversation happening between the referee and one of the New Zealand players. It's actually been 4 subs, so geez, even up by 4 touchdowns, they're still fighting for every inch here, the Kiwis. They've got an overlap here, Australia. They've got to find it somewhere. There's still a man down here. It opens up. The New Zealand players didn't react to the 4 substitution. And Bevan Thompson couldn't get onto the field early enough. They just had to find that overlap somewhere. They managed to claw one back. So it's 8-5 now. New Zealand still in the lead in this match.
I think that's an early warning for the Kiwis. On the try line, the referee is actually calling them to go forward and making sure that they make their way forward. So there's no use trying to question the referee on those decisions. You've just got to bite your tongue and get back into the game. So here we go, Langaheitu with the ball. We've got just making their way forward, McIntyre.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of the experience come out in the old heads here of the New Zealand side. We're keeping one eye on the scoreboard, but they'll also be keeping an eye on the clock as well. But Orlowski just couldn't pick the ball up on that occasion. So Australia, they've got to put the foot on the floor here, get down the other end of the field. The crowd's trying to will them home. Still a big deficit in this match. We're winding down in the last quarter of the match now. Walkerdine, he dishes. They take the touch. Walkerdine moves back into half. Salmon's back on the field. He's been good for the Australians in this match. Drives in nicely. They look for the wrap play. Do they go short? They do, but Kevin Orlowski comes up and makes a big touch. It wasn't over vigorous. They just bodies colliding there. They turn the ball over in New Zealand. They're going to be coming out of their 5 metre line.
New Zealand just need to keep to the basics. Just get themselves through the field. Nice clean passes, ball in hand. Nothing silly. It's about making sure that they have time with the ball. Making their way through Edwards. Turn ball. Jamie Lafiso back in the middle here. Just need to continue doing what they did in the third quarter here and not move away from their game. Finding a space. There's hands. Finding his winger. Oh, looked like. Oh. Referee says the ball was down. It looked like a touch for money, but unfortunately not seen by the referees. New Zealanders get another one back.
Yeah, beautiful touchdown in the corner. It was definitely down. Protest from Amir Abib from the Australian side. The referees made the correct call for sure. And the Kiwis now, they've got visions of lifting this trophy very soon. They are only a couple of minutes away from being crowned the 2019 World Cup champions in the men's 50s division.
A good call there. You know, we've had fantastic referees, and that's the game.
And there it is, the Kiwis. They erupt in the crowd and they erupt out on the field as well. That was almost a complete performance there from New Zealand. The Australians, they were really on the attack early on in this match, but from the second quarter, the Kiwis really lifted their game, and it was a fantastic performance, and they will become the 2019 World Cup champions in the men's 50s.
You're spot on there, Scotty. Right from the second quarter, the Kiwis came out demanding that the Aussies pick up the D, but really no reply from the Australians, and great game plan shown by the Kiwis. Old heads like Lafiso, McIntyre really leading the show, leading the troops around, and actually great display of touch by the 50s.
Oh, it's a fantastic game, and if our remaining gold medal matches are going to be of the quality of what we've just seen in the men's 50s, we've got a fantastic afternoon coming your way. But stay with us through BBC here this afternoon. We've got the women's 35 gold medal match. It's going to be Australia coming up against New Zealand again in that one, and that's going to be a fantastic match as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the women's 35s, a grand final very shortly.